Anytime that I see a politician who has prioritized profits over people, they've lost my vote.
Tonight, with ballots still being counted, we hear from you, the voters, on what you want to see from the next California governor.
No trans kid should be denied that just because they're trans.
The fight over transgender athletes in girls' sports continues, and now we're hearing from the California Interscholastic Federation about what its policy could look like next year.
Please help us before somebody gets hurt, before a human, before a child.
A Los Banos woman says 2 pit bulls killed her cat. Now, neighbors say the same dogs are tearing apart cars, trying to get to cats hiding underneath their hood. Fox 26 News at 10 starts now. Good evening. I'm Madison McKay, and thank you so much for joining us tonight. Well, tonight, California's race for governor remains too early to call, with votes still being counted. 3 candidates, Republican Steve Hilton and Democrats Javier Becerra and Tom Steyer, remain in the race for 2 slots in the general election. Hilton continues to lead the pack following the first set of post-election night results, but Becerra and Steyer improved in nearly every county that reported, narrowing the Republicans' early edge. Here's what the top 2 candidates had to say last night and this morning.
The California dream, it's alive tonight.
Change is coming to California, and the campaign for change starts today. We are not taking a break. The situation in California is too urgent for that.
And with the governor's race still too early to call, we wanted to hear what Fresno voters think is driving the results so far. So we hit the streets and asked, why do you think a Republican is currently leading in a deeply blue California? Here's what voters had to say.
People are ready for a change. We need it.
I can't say that it's hopeful, but it's not surprising. What I actually hope for is probably unrealistic, which is a compassion-first government. So like, don't do a homeless camp sweep, maybe give them homes.
I was very happy to see that it wasn't just going to come down to 2 Republicans. That would have been very boring, I think. And so it's nice that, we're going to have at least some sort of option.
Zachary says he wishes California followed states like Maine, where ranked choice voting is used in several elections. He believes many people are voting out of fear and voting for what scares them less instead of just voting for what they believe in. We'll head to another closely watched race now. Current Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass finishing with 35% of the vote, advancing to the runoff election. Falling behind her is Spencer Pratt and Nithi Raman. Let's now take a look at the race for Fresno County Superintendent, overseeing the county's 32 school districts and charter schools. You can see here that incumbent Dr. Michelle Cantwell-Cofer, she's running for re-election and is in the lead here with 42% of the vote. She's of course challenged by former Clovis Unified Superintendent Dr. Amir O'Brien, sitting with about 30% of the vote, and Dr. Johnny Alvarado coming in third with just 28% of the vote. Time now to look at Senate District 12 with Nathan Maxick finishing with 62% of votes, advancing to the November election. Coming in second is William Brown Jr. there, and then we also have Luis Miramontes, who's no longer reflected here in this race. For State Senate District 16, we have Republican Guillermo Gonzalez at 50% of the vote, advancing here. Incumbent Democrat Melissa Hurtado seeking another term and will also advance to the November election with about 35% of the vote. Moving on to 10:04 is your time. Moving on to the next race. This one is the 5th Congressional District. Republican incumbent Tom McClintock and GOP challenger Michael Masudo are advancing. And you can see that Tom McClintock there leading the pack at 63% of the vote. In the 13th Congressional District, the incumbent Democrat Adam Gray with 41% of the vote is advancing to the November election, with his GOP challenger Kevin Lincoln finishing with about 29% of the vote. And in the 21st Congressional District, current holder Jim Costa is advancing to the November election with more than 22,000 votes. Behind him, Republican challengers Kyle Kirkland, who will also now advance to the November election with 29% of the vote. Lorenzo Rios finishes with 16%, falling behind two Democratic challengers for this seat, Lauren Hubbard with 8% and Eric Garcia with 5%. Independent challenger Lance Cruz sits last with 1% of the vote. Taking a look at Congressional District 22 now, the incumbent GOP candidate David Valadao now advancing with 45% of the vote. Challenging Valadao are two Democratic candidates, Dr. Jasmine Baines and Randy Villegas Randy Villegas with 30% of the vote there. The newly redrawn district now stretches across parts of Kern and Fresno counties, pulling in more Fresno area voters than ever before. That means communities that may have had separate representation now vote in the same congressional race. Assembly District 31 now. The Democratic candidates you can see are Annalisa Pereira there with 44% of the vote. Coming in second is Republican candidate Jim Pulsgrove with 38% of the vote. Both candidates will now advance to the November election. You know, California stands out when it comes to tallying votes, and Fox 26 News reporter Carl Cook explains why final results may not come for days or even weeks.
The delay in California vote tallying is mostly due to the state's efforts to make voting easier. Every active registered voter in the state gets a ballot in the mail. Then those ballots are valid as long as they are postmarked by Election Day and arrive at county elections offices within 7 days of the election. Now, election officials, they can start processing those mailed-in ballots before Election Day, but have to keep in mind that election workers still have to verify the signatures, and if they don't match, voters may get a chance to fix it. Counties also have to review provisional ballots and ballots from people who registered and voted the same day. Now, the day before the election, according to the Secretary of State's office, they reported more than 4.2 million mail-in ballots had been returned, but that's out of more than 23 million that were sent out. I'm Carl Cook reporting.
And in 2024, more than 80% of California voters voted by mail in the November election. Efforts have been made to speed up the process. Last year, Assembly Bill 5 was passed, giving counties 13 days to finish counting most ballots. That's down from 30. Counties still have 30 days to certify the results. Well, today was certifiably, we might add, hot for us, and that's not going to change. Chief Meteorologist Chris Kuiper joining us with a look at just how hot it got today and how tomorrow could be even worse. I mean hotter, Chris.
Exactly right there, Madison. It is going to be a little bit worse out there tomorrow. Not a tremendous jump in our temperatures, but they've already jumped enough. Remember last Thursday we had the clouds, we had the rain even out there, and it was only 66 for afternoon high. But since then, our temperatures have rocketed up and up and away. 96 is what we did out there this afternoon for a high temperature. So the heat's definitely been on. 30 degrees hotter here the past week or so. And look for that to continue. Temperatures out there right now sitting mostly in the 70s, although still holding on the 80s here at the moment in Fresno, as you can see. Other temperatures mostly in the 70s and 80s for current temperatures. And as we look ahead towards the rest of the night tonight, well, temperatures do dip down somewhat under clear skies. We'll be down to 66 about 4 o'clock in the morning, and then by 6 o'clock in the morning, lower 60s. After that, temperatures warming back up, 77 already by noontime or by 10 o'clock. Tomorrow, it is going to be a little bit hotter tomorrow than it was out there today. I'll come back in just a few. We'll talk about how much hotter and see if the weekend will hold true with that as well.
Chris, thank you. Now, the debate over transgender athletes in girls' sports continues to spark division across California as advocates on both sides continue to clash over fairness and inclusion. Meanwhile, those impacted most by the controversy say they're still waiting for answers about what these policies will mean in the years ahead. Fox 26 reached out to one of the organizations for more clarification, and Fox 26's Myra Franco shares what they told us tonight.
One thing we've consistently heard throughout this controversy is that CIF's latest policy appears to satisfy neither side. We took these questions directly to CIF, asking whether its current policy is a long-term solution or simply a temporary one to navigate the issue. CIF declined to comment due to pending litigation. So instead, we turn to voices on both sides of the issue who agree on at least one thing. The debate over this policy is not going away anytime soon.
CIF knows this is wrong. You do not create special exceptions and compensation policies unless you recognize that female athletes are being displaced.
We're frustrated with the pilot program, as the other side is, because it denies the identity of our children. And what's interesting is it gives the other side exactly what they're looking for. It makes these transgender athletes ghost participants.
Those comments reflect just some of the divided reactions that has surrounded CIF's policy. Just last year, the CIF introduced a pilot entry process because of this issue, allowing a transgender athlete to advance or earn a place on the podium while the next highest girl also advances or wins the same placement. The move then was intended to address concerns from those who said the competition was unfair. We reached out to experts who study Title IX and civil rights in education to get their take on the policy.
The model that the CIF, the California Interscholastic Federation, has quietly put in place is flat out discriminatory and stigmatizing.
Patel says the policy sends a wrong message, setting certain student athletes apart from their peers based on sex and gender identity.
This is not actually doing the right thing. You know, if they're claiming that this is about fairness to ease the concerns of those who are in opposition of fairness, of inclusion.
One idea some have floated is a co-ed division. Patel says that's not the answer.
I think the whole basis for this is fundamentally flawed because A, it assumes that trans girls are not girls, and that is just wrong, and that is denying the identities and experiences of these girls, and it's dehumanizing.
We also spoke with Sophia Laurie, outreach director for the California Family Council and a vocal critic of policies allowing transgender athletes in girls' sports.
CIF needs to simply just do what's right. Get males out of female athletics.
She argues they want to see things restored to what they once were under Title IX.
You can be identifying as whatever you want. You just have to play on the team that aligns with your sex, because at the end of the day, identities don't play sports, bodies do.
And as you can see, the debate over how CIF handles transgender athletes is far from over. The big question remains, what will happen at next year's CIF championships? This is a developing story, and we'll keep you updated as soon as we know that answer. In studio, Myra Franco, Fox 26 News.
And this debate has put a spotlight on how California schools interpret Title IX. That's the federal law that prohibits sex-based discrimination in education programs receiving federal funding. In high school athletics, the law has been used to support equal opportunity for both girls and boys sports. But now it's at the center of a broader legal and policy debate over fairness, inclusion, and how school districts and governing bodies like the CIF apply those rules in competition. Now to an update on a story we brought to you last year. Former Salinas track star Clara Adams is suing the California Interscholastic Federation, or CIF, as Myra Franco mentioned, after she was disqualified from a gold medal win at the state track and field championships in Clovis. Adams won the 400-meter title with a time of 53.24 seconds, but officials stripped her of that title. The reason? Her father and coach handed her an extinguisher, which she used to spray her track spikes in a symbolic extinguishing the competition celebration. The lawsuit claims the disqualification was unjust and seeks to overturn the decision. Hey, straight ahead, a California tech CEO now arrested, accused of secretly helping Iran's military and nuclear programs. We'll have this story for you straight ahead. But first,
I understand it was a federal thing, but I'm angry at the fact that the school took so long to say something.
a dream of becoming a pilot may be grounded for some Reedley College students. Why a federal funding cut could force future aviators down a different career path.
President Trump admits he swore at Israel's prime minister during a tense phone call about the Iran war. I'm Atra El-Nashar with what else he revealed coming up.
Welcome back. We do have breaking news into the newsroom. We're learning more about an incident that happened in downtown Fresno tonight. We're getting reports that one person is dead. Our photographer, Ronnie Gerber, is live at the scene now. We're going to hear from the Fresno Police Department Public Information Officer. Here he is.
That will be held by police for some time. As we get more information and we process this scene, we will be able to collapse it down. But at this time, we're going to be holding this, I would imagine, for a couple hours.
Does it look like an isolated incident? I know you said it's still early in the investigation, but does it look isolated? Is there a threat to the public?
At this time, we do believe it is isolated. We have canvassed for several witnesses. We have talked to people who are in this immediate area that did not report seeing any additional victims, did not see any suspects fleeing on foot. So we believe that this is a targeted incident, isolated incident regarding this individual. However, yes, it is still in the infancy of the investigation, so it's unclear why it occurred.
Do you know how many gunshots or shell casings you guys were able to find so far?
So far, we're still processing. I don't know how many we have found or if any at all. But the victim did report that he was shot at least one time and he was struck once.
Do you guys have anything else?
Yeah, unfortunately, not a lot of information to go on just yet. This time, the victim's priority right now is being treated by medical personnel at the hospital. Obviously, that is the priority. We'll be sure to follow up with him and get additional information. And if we get updates, we'll let you know. The only thing I would ask your viewers is to try to avoid the area of Fresno and Belmont if they have any plans to come to this area. And we're always looking for additional information. So if anyone was here or has information regarding this incident, we encourage them to call Crime Stoppers. They can remain anonymous by calling 498-STOP.
Are you guys using any of your drone or aerials to kind of help?
We are using all assets available to help us locate evidence related to this case. We feel very confident that we have the general area, and we're just doing the old-fashioned police work of hard searching areas with officers with flashlights at this point.
Anything else?
Just the one person that was shot. Yes.
Yes. Right now we only have one victim.
And no one's dead, but
correct.
Just injured.
Yes, correct. His condition was reported to me as serious but stable. He is conscious and breathing, and again, we're giving the priority to the medical team to make sure that he remains in that condition, and then our investigators are with him now, and we'll continue to work with him and follow up investigation with him.
You may have asked this already, but what was there? Like, do you know what specific part he was struck in?
So I'm told that it was in the lower extremities, kind of in the thigh area.
And then how about friends, family? Are they also like able to give any details, like extra, like?
I don't know if any family or friends have been contacted.
All right, you just heard from Fresno PD there, folks, where they mentioned that a person was shot near Fresno and Belmont Avenues around 9 o'clock tonight. They are suggesting that you avoid this area, and they weren't really able to provide much more details. We know that this person is in stable condition, but critical. This person did survive their injuries. Investigators say the victim made it about a block from where the shooting happened before officers arrived. Fox 26 photographer Ronnie Gerber is who provided us with that live look. We'll continue to keep you updated as we learn more, but again, staying away from near Fresno and Belmont Avenues in downtown Fresno. We'll go to Bakersfield now. We do have an update there where police have identified the man accused of holding 10 people hostage inside of a Chase bank. 41-year-old Anthony Scott Searles Harris was shot and killed by the FBI after a 15-hour standoff. Police say he had a history of violence and is a registered sex offender. Searles Harris briefly served in the U.S. Army, but was dishonorably discharged for going AWOL.
At one point, he had asked for early on that notoriety of having FBI involved as well and FBI negotiators.
All 10 hostages were safely recovered and reunited with their families. And despite the standoff being over, the FBI says it's still going to investigate what led up to this. They encourage anyone with information to send that to tips.fbi.gov.
Traffic for possible shots fired at 1218 East Garrett.
We need other units to lock this place down. Officer hit. Suspect was in the front yard of the primary residence and fired upon officers.
His weapon was a firearm, unknown which one though, unknown make and model, or caliber.
Tonight, the man behind an overnight shooting in Fresno that sent a police officer to the hospital is now in critical condition after police say he shot himself. Good evening, and thank you for being here for Fox 26 News at 10. I'm Daniel Romero. Last night around 6:30, police were called to the area of Garrett and Clara Avenues after a woman called 911 saying that her husband threatened to kill her. The husband was quickly identified as 56-year-old Paul Rodriguez Cisneros. Police say Cisneros was wanted on multiple felony charges, including assault with a deadly weapon and criminal threats. Just after 9, when officers tried to take him into custody at a home on Garrett and Clara Avenues, police say they were immediately met with gunfire. One officer was hit multiple times in the arm and upper body. We're told he was released from CRMC and is now recovering at home and hopes to return to work soon. A second officer was not hurt. Police reveal that during the exchange, Cisneros took off in a patrol car while officers ducked for cover.
The officer that was shot, they barely stepped out of their car and hadn't even left its presence when they took gunfire. And when they went to seek cover because one had lost his gun and the other never saw the gunman, he doubled back and took the patrol car and just came down the street here. We also had information that he has connections here, so that's why it was very easy once we got into the investigation to figure out this was a possible location for him.
Today, the search led police to a home near Bardell and Vine in southwest Fresno, where SWAT teams, air support, and negotiators surrounded the area for several hours.
The house is fortified. It took some time. Obviously, SWAT's very methodical. They've got a lot of technology, a lot of tools out here, and we use every one of them to attempt to establish communication for a peaceful ending, and that was not possible. In the end, it turns out when we finally were able to breach and make entry with the drone, he was down on the floor, apparently gunshot, self-inflicted gunshot.
Cisneros was taken to CRMC. Casto hopes for justice to be served.
They do work miracles at CRMC. We're hoping that he is able to survive and be held accountable for his actions out here. Now, when SWAT did finally approach the location, multiple shots were fired. It was believed he was firing at the officers. It turns out, it appears he fired multiple shots and at least one gunshot wound was self-inflicted.
Casto says no officers or anyone else was hurt during today's standoff, but if Cisneros makes a full recovery, he'll be looking at several charges.
The key charge is going to be attempted murder of a Fresno police officer, and then there'll be related firearms and other violent crime charges.
And of course, we will continue to track this investigation and bring you the latest updates as soon as we learn more. In response to the shooting, Mayor Jerry Dyer released a statement writing, "If not for God's grace, we would be mourning the loss of an officer today. Let us never forget the dangers our officers face daily as they keep our community safe." He says he is praying for the officer's recovery and comfort for his family.